Hello everyone, welcome back to Kirklees Guitar School. Today I'm going to break down the intro for SweetChildOMine by GunsNRoses. It's an absolute must learn for any lead guitar player looking to improve the skills. So, before we get going, a couple of caveats. If you would like to print out a free tab that goes along with this lesson, join the Kirklees Guitar School Facebook group. Don't want anything from you, it's completely free and you can download it. I often find lessons like this are a little bit more technical, going through it with a pencil while I do it on video. It just gives you another angle to sort of take it from. So it's definitely worth doing if you're on Facebook. Secondly, I'm opting to do this in standard tuning, and GunsNRoses tune their guitars down to E flat. So if you don't know what that means, each of the strings, you know we have E, A, D, G, B, E, Eddie 8 Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie. We tune all of those down one semitone, and it sort of gives you a thicker, kind of deeper sound. A lot of guitarists of a certain era, like GunsNRoses, did that. We're going to do it in standard tuning today, and I've also linked in the description a backing track where you can practice it in standard tuning. If you want to play along with Slash and the guys in GunsNRoses, tune your guitar down. If you don't know what that means, tuning down to E flat, and you'd like me to break it down, let me know in the comments. With all that being said, let's get into it. So, it's an 8-bar phrase that repeats 3 times with an alternate ending, and it's all based around this first bar. Now, the more time you spend on the first bar of this, the easier the rest of it's going to be for you, okay? So we're going to start on the 12th fret of the D string with a downstroke. Then with an upstroke, I'm going to play the 15th fret of the B. So you've got D string, B string. With my middle finger, I'm then going to play the 14th fret, followed by the 12th fret of the G. And I'm going down, up, down, up. Get that under your fingers. I'm then going to play the 15th fret of the high E string. And then I've got 3 14s, one on the G, one on the B, and then going back to the G. What I like to do here is I like to bar all of those notes like that. So I've played the 15. And then coming back on myself like that. The whole bar. Now that might feel a little bit higgledy-piggledy with the fingers that I'm using. If another finger makes more sense to you, by all means please do that. But this is exactly how I play it. Moving into the second bar, you can see it's just the same pattern repeated. And the only thing that changes in all of the slides up until the very last one is the first note of this pattern. So the 7 notes that come after the first one are all identical. Pause the video if you need to and get that under your fingers. If not, let's play a little bit of spot the difference. So we're going to go to the second slide now and just look at the first note of that phrase. We go from a 12 on the D string to a 14 on the D string. And what we're doing is we're following the chords that the rest of the band's playing. So instead of this D note, we're going to move up to an E note. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that 12th fret with the index finger that I played in the first slide with 14 on the same string, but I'm going to play it with my middle finger. So I'm playing that with my middle finger on the 14, and then just as before, I go to my ring finger for the 15, middle finger, index finger. Can you see how the latter 3 notes of that phrase follow the same fingering pattern that I did in the previous slide? So you've got 14, 15, 14, 12 on the G. Then just as before, we're going to take the ring finger and play the 15th fret of the high E string. And then I'm going to bar with the middle finger, and then moving into the second bar of this slide, you can see it's just repeated. See, I'm doing a lot of rolling with this finger. It's a really good exercise to do that. So first slide. Second slide. Moving on to the third slide, it looks awfully similar to the first, but there's one crucial difference, and that 12th fret has now migrated to the G string, not the D string. And again, all the fingerings are in the same place. 12 on the G, 15 on the B, 14, 12 on the G, ring finger up to the 15th fret of the high E, and then we've got as bar, or you can rock and roll that. Pause the video if you need to. Now would be a good time to potentially work on the first 3 chunks of this. The first 3 slides, which is the first, second and third line of the PDF. That'd be a really good, nice little chunk to sort of make a cup of tea and just go over that for sort of 20 minutes before you carry on. If you're with me so far, we've got 2 more slides, but actually the 4th slide, this one coming, is identical to the first slide. Can you see? Can you see how we start on that D string again? So slide 1, starting on the D string. Slide 2, we're still on the D string, but we move to the 14. Slide 3, we go back to the 12th fret, but we're on the G string. And then the 4th slide, we go back to the first lick, but we play that another 2 times. Now, can you see above the tab over here? It's got a 1 and a 2. That 8-bar chunk that I've just taken you through is repeated 3 times. Now, on the first 2 repetitions, you're going to finish with this lick here. So the whole lick goes. We're going to repeat that twice. And this is the last, this is bar 7 and 8 for that. On the 3rd repetition, we're going to skip over these 2 bars and replace it with this here. Now this is called a pedal turn. Now a pedal turn means that every other note, it always ping-pongs back to one consistent note. So can you see how every other note is the 14th fret of the G? It's the only lick that spans 2 bars and doesn't repeat. So I want you to consistently, that 14th fret of the G string wants to be your middle finger, and it always wants to be a downstroke. Okay, so we're going to pick the downstroke on the 14th fret of the G, upstroke on the 12th fret of the high E, back to the G, and then upstroke on the 15th fret of the B. Now see how I'm lifting my finger off that 14? You don't have to, I'm just trying to be really, really crystal clear for you guys. That's the first 5 notes. 14, 12, 14, 15, 14. We're then going to go back to the 12 on the high E, pedal turn. I'm going to tap my ring finger and I'm going to squidge it underneath my middle finger to the 14th fret of the high E. You see how I just had to move my wrist a bit to get that in? Moving into bar 2, back to the pedal, up to the 15th fret of the high E. I then start working my way back down, pedal, 14, pedal, 12, pedal, 15. And Slash will actually hold on to that note while Axl starts singing. Pause the video if you need to get that under your fingers. So that ending's a little bit fiddly, but I find it just nicely kind of, I was umming and ahhing as to whether I put it in, but actually it just kind of sort of crosses off one whole section of the song and is a nice sort of chunk to practice where you don't have to commit to doing the whole thing. The solo for this song is an absolute roast, but it is a really, really good, there's lots of really good stuff in that. So if you'd like me to have a look at that, maybe as another milestone special, we could look at that potentially. Teach you how Slash uses a wah-wah and doing all that stuff. So if that was helpful, like the video, subscribe. It really helps me out. It tells YouTube that this stuff's good and tells other people about it. It's really, really important. If you want to support the channel, that's the best way that you can do that for me, okay? I will see you next week for another lead guitar lesson. Thank you so much.